Good morning. Welcome to my tutorial. So what you're going to need is a copy of Spore Galactic Adventures. You can get from GOG.com, because the whole gimmick on this site is you own the game when you buy it. So it has no DRM, which is the reason it doesn't work on most other platforms. Like if you try to mod it on Steam, it will literally break down. You can't run it. So, and also, if you buy it on here, you get both Galactic Adventures and the base game, which you need Galactic Adventures if you want to run the mod API launcher, because that's just how it is. Now we have a virgin copy of the game. If we launch it, as you can see, it boots up. What we're going to need, the Spore ModAPI launcher. So, we have a PDF full of links. We'll get it here. Download that. Take note of the URL. It's going to be in the description, though. I'm installing it for the first time. Install it here. Don't touch anything. And done. Now, as you can see, it created 3 batch files. The easy installer, the easy uninstaller, and the mod API launcher. You always gotta click yes for the updates if you want to have your mod run. We're also gonna need to update that. The game now successfully launches again. We can close it. Okay, so what's next is we're going to need a copy of Visual Studio. Not Visual Studio Code, because that is the light version. We're going to need all the features, all the version control, all the building tools that comes with it. So we're going to look up Microsoft Visual Studio Community Edition. There we go. You can see, Visual Studio setup. There we go. Yes. No thanks, VirtualBox. Just have a few things. Continue. While I wait for that to download. Alright, now that it's done downloading, it brings up this little menu. So in order to mod Spore, we're going to need desktop development with C++. As you can see, we're going to make sure we have all these features. Blech. Not Copilot. You can uncheck that. Next, we're going to need game development with C++. You can also check that, because if you want to do things with graphics, it provides all the tools for that. I'm sorry, I don't know all the terms. I'm just making this tutorial so that way anyone can get into modding. Install both of them. Oh boy, this is going to take a while. While we're waiting for this to download, we'll install SporeModderFX, which is used for creating package mods. Now, a package mod is much different from a code mod. Think of it as like a Minecraft data pack. It has textures, and it has basic frameworks for things, but not much else. You can't really add much custom functionality to the game with a package mod, which is why we're setting up the Visual Studio and Spore ModAPI. So that way we can make code mods, which are used for new systems, new cheats, and new bosses, I guess. Wait, there's no bosses in Spore. Okay. So we're gonna need SporeModderFX. But before you do that, we're gonna need to install Java 11. However, Oracle, the people who made Java, don't really provide the installer for Java 11, so we're gonna have to install it from Microsoft again. Man, I love Microsoft technologies. Oh boy. Okay. Well, this video is turning out to be a whole download session. Ain't that fun? Okay, we have everything installed. Let's boot up the Java installer. Next, accept. I won't give this software to my buddies on a flash drive. Yada, 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 yada. Install everything. Just make your screen look like this, if it isn't already like this. Alright, next, install. We're gonna wait for that Microsoft Technologies to beam up. Yada, yada. Finish. Alright, now we'll go to SporeModderFX, hit download. Alright. We'll drag this here. Holy guacamole. Alright. Spit it up. Run anyway. It's perfectly safe. It's got two themes, a light mode and a dark mode. We will pick dark mode. Alright. We can have this set as set later. Okay. That's gonna unpack the game. Wait for that. Ooh. Ooh, we got an error. Episode 1 patch data. But we don't need to worry about that. Doesn't matter too much. Yeah. We have SporeModderFX up and running. We can close that. Alright. Next we'll need GitHub Desktop. So we'll just look for the PDF and install GitHub Desktop. Alright, it's done. So now we're watching it up. It's being installed. Yada yada. So, now what we're going to need to do is go to the repository for SporeModAPI. As you can see, github.com, emd 46000 Spore-ModAPI. We're going to need to copy this link. And skip this step. Finish. Let's call it a repository for the internet. URL. So my local path is users, DeNether, documents, GitHub, SporeModAPI. Hit clone. Alright, so y'all just been following me installing random things for the entire time. There's just one more thing we need to do first. We're looking for extensions. Now, I don't know where it is at all. I'm very stupid. We have tools, extensions, window, crap. Wait. This is another moment and a half. Alright. So first, we're gonna need to look up Spore. We're gonna need to install the first one. So, SporeModAPI SDK templates. We're gonna need to install that. Changes are scheduled. We'll close that. Alright, so let's go find the SporeModAPI GitHub repository that's been saved on our local drive. So we need to first check the Github. We can open this with Notepad. As you can see, projects asterisk. This prevents any changes we do in projects from being uploaded. So we're gonna make our first mod here. So let's get started. So a quick launch on Video Studio. Wait for that to load. Modify. We'll have that be set up. And we're almost ready. Alright. Create repository. Create a new repository. Choose. We're going to go to GitHub, SporeModAPI, projects. And we're going to select this folder. We're going to call this mod Invincibility. Makes you oh my, I cannot type fast. Invincible in space. Smiley face. Git ignore. License. So we need to make sure that's in the right place. So users DeNether, documents, GitHub, SporeModAPI, projects, invincibility. Create repository. It just wants my Microsoft crap. I'm sure that's not important. Alright, we have a repository set up. Now first, alright, so first we're going to need to make two folders. One called data. This is going to contain our package files for any package mods we wish to create. But we're not going to do that in this episode. And now, source. Spelled with an S-R-C. We have to use this file structure if you want to build your mod within the GitHub website. So if you're away from your computer, you can okay. So if you're away from your computer, you can build your mod remotely. Not that you can place test it or anything, but it's just a cool feature. Alright, so we're going to go to, wait for this to finish installing, and check back with you then. Done. Alright, we have this installed. So now we can boot up. Visual Studio. In the taskbar. We can now start working on our mod for real. We'll wait for this to start up. So now we're gonna create a new project. If we install the add-on, we'll get this SporeModAPI project. We'll click next. We'll call this. We have to make sure it is within GitHub, SporeModAPI, projects, invincibility, source, new folder. We can call this cheat project. This is where we're going to store our project in this folder. So it's going to be called inv cheat project. Place a solution and project in the same directory. Inv cheat project. Create. we're going to need to find the ModAPI SDK. So we're just going to, it was the path we did. Documents, GitHub. SporeModAPI. Accept. All right. As you can see, we have everything set up correctly. We have Cheat project and SporeModAPI. Cheat project. And if anything worked, we'll have DLL main.cpp. It's going to contain, it's basically the heart of our mod. Now we're going to need some way to tell if the mod's running. So we're going to print to the console. The cheat console, that is. If you press Control-Shift-C while you're playing the game, it'll open up the cheat menu. And if everything worked, we'll see our little message at the cheat cell. So, app, console, print F. If you press tab, it'll auto-complete it. Now we'll surround the code in these quotation marks. Every programmer's first steps begins with a hello world. Smiley face. Now this is C++. Each line of code must end in a semicolon. And there we have it. Let's launch the mod by clicking Local Windows Debugger. It will build the mod. Very slowly your first time, but every other time will be much quicker. And we're in the game. Let's see if it worked. Network plate disabled. Control-Shift-C. Hello world. There it is. Our code worked. Ta-da! That's the first steps of the modding adventure. Or something. I'm not trying to sound corny or anything, but I don't really know how to really word this tutorial. But we got the basic project set up. So let's break things down. Initialize just this method is executed when the game starts, before the user interface is shown. You can add cheats, similar classes, add new game modes, space tools, and change materials. This for attaching detours in case you want to replace any functions the game does. Of course, that is a bit more complicated to do. So for now, we're going to start by making an invincibility cheat. So, what are we going to do? We're going to create a new filter. Cheats. It's going to contain all our cheats. Add. New item. Show all templates. Console cheat. We're going to call it. Now, since I'm bad at spelling, I'm going to call it inv for invincibility. Add. Now we have two new files, inv.cpp and inv.h. H stands for header. This just contains all the methods that this is going to contain. This cheat does something. Now first, we're going to need to attach inv to the mod, because by default, it's not going to attach normally, and we can't run it. So, we're going to do cheat manager. Oh yeah, it's cheat manager. Colon. Add cheat. P string. So it's going to be a string. We're going to say inv, comma, new, inv. Something doesn't seem to be right. That's because we need to include it first. Hashtag include inv.h. Includes the header file, so that way we're going to have the cheat in the game. I mean, no, well, what including does includes that file and this file, so that way we can call it within the game, and nothing crashes. So new inv. This cheat does something. So this is the get description. It runs when you get help on a certain cheat. So we're going to say this cheat makes you invincible. And this the soft, elaborate description of the cheat. Inv. Invincible in the space stage. Alright. So there's no in-game way to make your character invincible, but that's what a system is for. But we'll get right back to that right after we test if the cheat works. So let's add a console print f into the parse line. This triggers when we actually call the cheat in game. Hello world, we'll say I'm unstoppable. There we go. Control S to save it. Make sure there's no asterisks right next to it. Right here. There's an asterisk. That means it's not saved. You press Control S to save something. Now, we'll build it. Let's see what happens. Alright. Control Shift C. We have our little debug message there. Let's type in help for help in the game. And all the cheats too. Let's see if our cheat is here. Inv. This cheat makes you invincible. We'll type in inv. I'm unstoppable. So that means the cheat works and it's successfully attached to the DLL main. Okay, so now we're going to make a simulator system. Now, what is a simulator system? Well, let me show you in a Microsoft Paint diagram. Okay, so when the game is running, let's draw a block. This represents a system. This system does many things in the game. Like this system is for plants. This system is for aliens. Ooh. And this system is for the weather. So now, when the game is running, your CPU is like a line. It goes through every single system it has. So first it checks the plants, then it checks the aliens, then it checks the weather. And if that's all good, it goes on with its merry day. Now at the same time, there's a standalone system that draws every frame. This is called by the GPU. And it just repeats itself forever and ever and ever. But it takes note of the space of each frame. And it's called delta time. It's the difference between each frame and when a system is called. So that way you can tell the weather when each frame was called. So it can move the frame no matter what frame rate your game is running at. So, what we're going to be doing is making a new system, invincibility. So, when the game runs, it's going to check each of the systems and then goes to our new system. And we have to make sure our system doesn't have any errors, doesn't contain any paradoxes. Like, this cheat is going to only run in the space stage, where it's going to change the health of our spaceship. Now, what happens in a stage without our spaceship? Well, the game crashes. So we're going to have to check for every single possible cause that will result in a crash. So that way, it doesn't get stuck on our simulator and close the game. So we can have this run forever. This keep track of delta time. All right. Good. So we'll close this. We'll keep this for safekeeping. Diagram. All right. So first, we're going to create a new filter for our simulator systems. Add new item. Similar system. We're going to call it invincibility system. All right. Add. Now, oh my gosh, what is this? What am I looking at? Well, this is a similar system. The header file for it, at least. Now for some reason, when creating a new similar system, it's going to cause an error if you build the game. So we're going to need to add in one of the required things that is needed for a similar system, which is a write to XML. I don't know why the game needs this, but you always need it anyway. Bool, write to XML. Later, serializer stream asterisk. What an asterisk means is it's a pointer. So you can call a variable without calling a variable. I know it sounds complicated, but we'll learn it. Stream override. Okay, now this is creating an error. What gives? It's because it does not exist in our similar system, I think. Hold on. Oh, my mistake. My mistake. We need a XML serializer instead. XML. Write XML. So yeah, we're gonna quick actions and refactorings. We're gonna create a definition, which created this. Now the game will properly run. I think. This thing is made of duct tape and glue. All right. So here is the update system, the meat and potatoes of the thing. So this is the delta time I described, which is the amount of things between frames. But we don't really need that. So what are we going to do? So first, we're going to need to create a variable in our header file. Private bool running. Now this cheat will indicate if the cheat is running. I mean, this boolean. A boolean is a yes or no statement in programming. Okay. Now we're going to need initialize. Bool running equals false. This is called every time the game starts up. So now, if running, which means if running equals yes, true, it's going to run all the code in here. Now, what was that paradox we were talking about earlier? If this sheet is running, when we're not in the space stage, it'll crash. So what we're going to need to do is, first, we need to get all the terms from the simulator. So we'll type in name space simulator. I think. Okay, let's just pretend this never happened. Alright, so we'll need to make sure if we're running the space stage. So, if simulator current get current context. Oh, that's space context. Which means what level of, if you're in the galaxy, planet, or solar system. Now that only affects space stage, which means that's not what we're looking for. Simulator game mode. Get game mode ID. There we go. Equals game mode IDs colon space K game space. All right. Now we'll get player UFO. It's one of these. Player UFO. Similar player UFO. All right. Dot. Now this might look complicated, but all you really do is just look through each individual method until you find the one that you want. All right. Get UFO. I think. Unless dot. Another method exists in here. Nope. Get UFO. Dot. Health. Now this set health points. To health points. Now we're going to need to find out how many hit points our UFO has. So we're going to copy this. Get max hit points. I think that's it. Now we're going to need to attach invincibility system to our DLL main. So tag include invincibility system .h. Oh wait, the H file only gives us a template. I think that'll work, right? Now we're going to go to make sure the cheat works. When we parse the line, we're going to need to include invincibility system. invincibility system dot PTR, the pointer. That's strange. Well, it looks like it's a private member. So we're going to have to make some methods. So we're going to have to go to the header file and create two new methods. So we're going to create void, which means it returns nothing. Which means if you're creating like a function that does math or returns a yes or no, you're not going to want a void. Void doesn't say anything. So we're going to say invincibility on, colon. But you know what? We could be efficient and just have it as one method. Let me explain. We'll take in a boolean as an input. Imp. Bool. Imp. So now we'll create definition. And whatever imp is, we'll set to running equal imp. There we go. Invincibility. True. So it'll set invincibility to true. Ooh, looks like we... What is this? Oh boy. This is because the invincibility system doesn't exist in the game. It exists as a framework, but there are no... Okay, let me bring out the Microsoft Paint again. All right. So, what we did was we made a framework for the actual system. When the game starts, it turns all frameworks into the system objects. This is our invincibility. This is the... Oh, man, this hurts to draw. Right? This are plants, and this is whatever. So, what the game has in the code is the frameworks. And then it creates the frameworks into the actual objects. And then the game taps each object, not the framework. So we're going to need to somehow create this. So that way, when the game loop is called, it calls our system. Oh boy, this is going to be painful. But, alright. Okay. So, first, we need to make the invincibility system as an object. So, define invincibility system. I like to add a for the object. And alright, invincibility system A, invincibility system, colon, get, colon, I think, 0. Oh, 0. There we go. Now we're going to actually need a method called get. Alright, so we're going to need static invincibility system get. Now, we're going to need to make it a pointer. So that way it refers to the invincibility system. when we call get. So the invincibility system A is get, which returns the pointer of this framework, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to need something for this invincibility system to return, because it's a static invincibility system. So we're going to need static invincibility system. Pointer S instance, which is this. Alright, if I recall this correctly, we're going to need to create a new method. Invincibility system. Pointer. Alright. S instance. I probably spelled this wrong. Build it. There we go. S instance. Now S instance needs to be something, so we'll declare it in initialize. So alright. So S instance equals this. Now we're going to need the get method. So we're going to right click, create definition of get, return S instance. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's go back to the inv cheat. This is still causing an error. So what we can do is now call invincibility system A dot invincibility. I think I spelled it wrong. Let's debug this together. Okay. Invincibility system A is undefined. That's strange. Thought we defined it right here, right? With get and everything. Oh, here's the problem. I spelled it wrong. Now inv.cpp. Invincibility true. I think we're ready. The moment of truth. Watch this, or it's gonna crash. Holy crap! Okay, that works. I think we still have yet to try out our cheat. Replay disabled. Oh, we're speedrunning this. Oh, the frame rate's atrocious. Name your cat. Okay. Okay. Fine. For the moment of truth. Help. Help. In. Ooh. Ooh, something went wrong. Alright. Now, what happens when something goes wrong? We debug it. So, over here, you can actually click a little red circle right next to this. Now, what this does is a breakpoint. The game will freeze when it reaches this code in our similar system thing in the big loop. So that way, we'll go through each step and see what causes the game to do what it just did. We'll click this again. Alright, we have the game up and running again. Now before we do anything rash, we need to attach the thing to the process. So attach to process. It's going to look through all the processes on our computer. We're going to need to look for SporeApp.exe. Here you go. Attach. Now, I'm pretty sure... Now, the game freezes when we get to this code. So we can see what is wrong. We're going to go into the code. So now, we're at get sinstance, return sinstance. So now we're at invincibility, running equal INP. Alright. Now what went wrong here? Unhandled exception. What went wrong? This was a null pointer. The invincibility system didn't I think I know where we went wrong. Equals this. Alright. So, what was the problem? When we called running, this still was a null pointer, even though we did all the wacky stuff. What happened? Well, what I think is that we just called the mod API rather than the simulator system. We didn't add the block. Add strategy. Let's see. Let's see if that worked. Alright, the game is back up and running. Let's see if that did the trick. Let's start the game. Creature, randomize. Isn't that what the name of the cells? Whatever. Okay. So let's see if the simulator block exists and is being called. Probably doesn't. We're gonna get another crash. In close. Wait. 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 Let's try to take damage. Would you look at that? And this is the final step of modding. When you realize the junk you made actually works. See, we're invincible now. I mean, the production on this thing, my mic is terrible. But let me know in the comments if you want another tutorial on how to make something in the mod API. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.